It's the second stop of Season 7 of the Party Poker Big Game, and we're at the Merit Crystal Cove Hotel and Casino in Northern Cyprus as our table heads into the final hours.
Obviously.
Wow.
No. Obviously.
Wow. Mad Marvin squelched. Just put the big bet in.
Nice, I like that.
Put the big bet in.
Don't take the bad decision. Take the good.
Oh, that hurts.
You take the bad decision.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You won.
Yes. Wow. Nice. It's going to look pretty bad.
I can now tell you that the player with the fewest votes who will be evicted is Vladimir. I'm afraid you're going to have to leave the game.
What? Me? What did I do? You're kidding.
Who will walk away the biggest winner and who will lose it all as the game comes to a close? Let's head over to your host, Jessie May, to see who's in front and who's behind down on the casino floor.
Biggest winners so far. French Moroccan international Big Raj Hairabedian has torched this game so far. Alexei Rubin took 26,000 and was booted out. Dominic Nietzsche nearly tripled his starting stack, took about 20K home with him. Jungleman Daniel Cates in there for the duration and 18,000 ahead. Robert Peltecki got even, won and left. Russian Blinov was down, now he's a winner. And for the losers, it's rained on their parade. Mad Marvin's first trip to the big game has been a bust. He stuck 32,000. Alexander Nelkin lost 29K and ran. The grinder, Michael Mizrachi, not had a good time here in the big game Cyprus. Vladimir Schemelev, 15,000, as is Raul Olarescu, minus about 11K. And for Sam Trickett, he's always looking up and seeing rainbows. Marvin in trouble and talking to Kara.
Just on a short break now with some of the players. I have Marvin here. You've been having a massage. You look pretty relaxed, but is that the reality?
Honestly, I actually am pretty relaxed still. Also, I'm down a lot, and yeah, but there's a comeback.
It seems like an interesting table. The dynamic there. How would you characterize the table? Is it playing loose? Is it not playing loose?
It's like it changes a lot, like really fast. I feel like. I mean, we're not playing that many hands, but yeah, there's like now just the last half hour. There's been a lot of big bluffs. None of them have worked really. Oh, except I got bluffed very big by Big Roger, and yeah, that one kind of hurt, but I still feel like it's an okay decision that I made. Also, I made a really big fold, but yeah.
Okay. Well, we're heading into the last few hours, so I'm sure things are going to change up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sertac Turker, the new player in the 7th seat. He's got the hoodie and the sunglasses. Have you ever seen him before?
It's pretty hard to recognize someone who's wearing hoodies and sunglasses, but I recognize that name. Maybe it's just...
You're actually one of the few sort of young gun type guys who never really used the hoodie or the sunglasses. Why not?
I'm only wearing a hoodie because it's usually too cold in casinos. And sometimes I wear sunglasses, but only when I play with really good live players. Deep in tournaments, for example. But no, I just don't feel like I need it. You know.
Call 800.
Daniel's raised this up to 800, and I believe Constantinos just flatted here with the ace-king on the button.
And this looks like a hand Trickett would be likely to just squeeze if he wants to.
Raise.
Wow, how'd you know? Where'd you get that from?
See, I was saying he just wants to get even, and also I was saying he. This is kind of like the hand and the situation that Trickett likes to attack. You know, like he knows Cates is opening a wide range, and he doesn't have much respect for the amateur's game, so he's going for a squeeze. He has a pretty decent looking hand, like a small suited ace.
3,400.
Well, now that it looks like Daniel's flatted, what's the play for Constantine? He's got 20,000 deep. Is
He
this a
should-
clear shove or not really?
Yes,
26.
absolutely.
He should know that Trickett's range can actually be quite wide here.
Absolutely. I mean, Trickett has been kind of aggressive. I think that's definitely a mistake there. If you shove there, you fold out so many hands,
3 players.
and you pick up so much dead money as well. You pick up like the 60 some. I don't know how much in the middle. I'm too tired, but there's so much money in the middle. You just have to pick that up and just go all in right there.
Wow, look at this. Cates has flopped a set. And Trickett has to lead at this, doesn't he?
Trickett is obviously going to bet this board, yeah.
4,500.
He's not going to do what that one player did to Marvin when he checked the Jack 4, because that's clearly a mistake. Trickett is too good for that. Obviously bets this middle pair. Then in case you're just going to call.
Because it'll look suspicious to do anything else.
Yeah. And also because you wouldn't mind the third player in, who made a clear mistake by just not shoving pre. If he shoves pre, he picks up this pot. And worst case is he gets called, and then he's in a flip with lots of dead money in there.
How much does Sam Trickett lose if a 4 pops? All right. Does he lose any more anyway?
If a 4 pops, he loses all his chips. And that goes without saying. It's just all the money's going to go in if a 4 comes. But I'd expect him to bet again on this turn, yes. And I'd expect him to bet. Did he start that with 26?
But I mean, what kind of hands can Daniel Cates, can Jungleman have called with that he's going to fold on the turn, or that he's willing to get away from?
10s, jacks, 9s just got there, so that's a bad example. Like 8s. I mean, if he's calling 3s, that means he's calling a whole lot of other hands. And Cates is creative enough to just like call the flop to take it away, even with the amateur behind, because he realized how strong it looks. So yeah, Trickett had 2 options. He could either double barrel, or he could check fold. This time he decided to go for the check fold, I guess, because there's no way he's check calling.
Wow, Daniel checked behind. Has he outthunk him?
It's quite. He probably figures that Trick is just always going to give up when he checks that turn, and he's most likely not going to get 2 streets out of him anyway. So he kind of hopes that he can like call a river bluff or like raise the river bet depending on what happens. Like on this river, he would obviously just go for a raise and get all the money in.
Wow, he's really got Trickett on the hook now. Sam's thinking about trying to get Daniel off one of the hands you mentioned, 10s or jacks, it looks like.
Yeah.
He's not going to bet for. I mean, if he bets there, he's turning his hand into a bluff for sure.
I mean, he already turned his hand into a bluff on the flop.
That's true.
So he was just bluffing all the way. Like the 4 is just an added bonus, It's just like
And Daniel, of course, he has that sort of super double pot bet in his arsenal. Does he go for the big one here, or does he try and just milk it?
I mean, the way he's been playing, he's been going big in these kind of situations, and it's a pretty interesting line to just like check behind on the turn and then go for an overbet on the river. That's certainly something he's capable of, and
14,300.
he just goes for the near pot bet.
When he does that, it's not 10s or jacks anymore, is it?
No chance. It's a hand he called with on the flop, and he decided on the turn that he wanted to check behind, and now he's betting the river. So it's quite possible he's just really strong here, or he has a hand. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter for Trickett because there's no way Trickett can ever call this.
Okay.
There's just no way Trickett can call there.
The mysteries of the Jungleman. Always seems to just make the perfect play in the right situation.
There are very few people, if any, who have as much fun playing live poker as Daniel Cates. When Black Friday happened, online poker shut down in the U.S., he hadn't left his house for about 4 years. Since then, he's made the most of catching up. And when he plays live poker right now, it's really just to enjoy the game.
I actually think I'm playing like like 30% looser than I should be playing. Something like that.
Raise 13 pounds.
A lot of people, a lot of poker players around the world have really grown to appreciate his sense of humor, which
I'm playing pretty loose too.
is
In this lineup.
synonymous with his logic, really. Trickett, one of those who really appreciates the ins and outs of Daniel Cates.
According to yourself.
I never said I was the best.
Check.
I think I'm pretty good.
You don't think you're best in no limit heads up?
Huh?
You don't think you're best in no limit heads up?
I didn't say that I didn't think I was. I just didn't. I said I didn't say that I was.
Oh my God.
One thing to think you are, another thing to say that you are.
It is a big difference. Jungleman saying, I didn't say I didn't think I was the best poker player in the world. Just that I didn't say I was the best. Contrast that, of course, to Phil Hellman.
Huh? You don't play actively online. Right?
What?
You don't play online almost nowadays, right?
I play online, yeah.
I don't see you too much on Poker Stars.
I've been online like every day when I'm not in the West, almost.
Check.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, I played yesterday.
Actually, they're talking about Jungleman playing online, and if the internet forums are to be correct, I believe that him and Durr are due to resume their match
That's correct, yeah.
at some point quite soon.
I'm surprised to hear that, actually, but
Also,
yeah, gonna be fun.
I didn't lose that altogether because I won some money on a Euro site that nobody knows. I don't think people know that I play on. There's actually pretty good action on 2 Euro sites.
This is probably a really good place to reveal it if you want to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
The Party Poker Big Game continues here in Cyprus after the break. Welcome back to the Merit Crystal Cove Hotel and Casino. The World Poker Tour is in town. In fact, the main event starts tomorrow, but the side events are already bustling. But upstairs is where the real action is. Let's get back to the big game.
Gaming, they still have action?
All these players will be taking their seats in the main event of the WPT, but right now it's mission ahead to play the last few hours of this big game. Big Raj on track to be the big winner.
Raise 4 pounds. Sit 3.
Big Raj with the open. The min raise. Is it a stack size thing or just a style thing? Why so many people are opening with the min raise? And
I've been looking at stack sizes over there, and I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Because Cates has really been very consistent with opening to 7
I'm not
from the 2.
Yeah, it should be a stack size thing. That's all. That's all it should depend on, really.
I'm not full with numbers.
I haven't played yet.
Yeah, probably we don't play each other.
I should always, like, if there's a big fish in the big blind, you obviously raise bigger. You know, that's just like one of these things
where tables without names
you should
right?
vary your raise setting on who's in the,
names
depending on who's in the blinds, not on your hand strength. That's what I always do. Like, if there's a big, there's a weaker player, then I just go like 3.5x.
Well, this is the second time that Constantine has made the cold 4 from the small blind against Marvin's button 3-bet. This time he's got it. He didn't have it last time.
Hang on, what is going on here? Hairabedian raise. And a Marvin 3-bet.
On the button, and it's a cold 4 from Constantine, yeah. And Marvin will probably have found out by now, if he's been following along, that the last time this happened, Marvin had the king deuce, and Constantine had an ace-4 offsuit.
Yeah, serious, you can tell me.
Got the goods this time. It's a few hours ago.
I'm not sure if I like his 3-bet there with king 9. King 10, that's just...
What do you think about this?
Just trying to isolate Roger, is that the idea?
Yeah, I guess, but
it's too obvious to people.
King 10 is not that strong, really. Are you expecting to get called by, like, king 9, king 8?
Profit and loss of the players at the table. Hairabedian leads the way still, but Daniel Cates is catching up. He's been a force, and big on Big Raj's left could be significant. Blinov, of course, still doing well. Most of the others within touching space, except, of course, for Mad Marvin Rettenmaier, who really needs a big
higher
run
stakes,
here.
I don't think people are really doing it.
And it could be
Maybe
on
there's
tap.
a small chance, like there's like
3 stacks
collusion
at
in
this
some big
table
games or
near the
something.
$50,000 mark,
In
so
my experience, I
easy
don't
to
think that's the
foresee a
case.
6-figure
For the most
pot
part.
Race
in the
12,
future
16.
of this big game.
But I mean, I guess that if you play with somebody, let's say 10,000 hands heads up,
Call.
and then he changed the screen name and come to you again, and maybe 1,000 hand you realize that it's him.
Yeah, that's unethical. In particular, if it's against the rules.
I mean, even if you get advantage, it's not for so long, you know. It's not like.
Constantinos opened this up and Big
Sometimes
Raj is
things backfire.
flatted.
That's
Or I
another
think Big
thing.
Raj opened it up and Constantinos flatted, to be fair.
I've had reads on people
Yeah.
that later.
Yeah,
turned
looks
out
like Big
to be
Roger
wrong
open.
and
No, Big
stuff.
Roger must have been the straddle.
Yeah. And also, like, people play different versus
Either way,
people.
the
Like,
flop
they
went
can-
check,
Like,
check.
how someone plays versus a random is going to be different versus how they play someone specifically.
Kind of a loose call by Constantine.
That's as far as advantages go.
I think he kind of he just
in
has
my
to call
opinion,
there.
it's
One more street.
illegal.
Just to see if he gets a cheap card on the river.
No, if he gets a cheap showdown,
Yeah.
basically.
2,500.
Yeah, if the sites say it so, or there's some implied understanding with the rules. Like, it's obviously bad if the other person sees your cards because it's implied in the game that you can, you can't just like see each other's cards. It's
Man, Jungleman is
not part of
talking
the
a
game.
lot.
Oh, he's thought about this stuff.
For Euro sites, as far as multi kind of goes, the field's kind of open. Like, you can change your name anytime you want, or play on a different skin or whatever.
Constantine's really having to
technically.
think about this. I mean, if Big Raj,
Like, if someone does that to you, you can just do it right back to them.
this is a river raise. He's trying to represent the flush.
That makes it ultimately fair.
Okay, if you want to represent the flush, you should probably start by doing what you do with a flush, which
Kind of
is
like
bet
both
the
players
flop.
can check raise.
which is too bad.
The check raising
Kind of.
might be you.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, then
Yeah,
what else are you
like,
representing
both
at this
sides can
point?
take
Ace,
disadvantage
pocket
if they
eights.
want to.
No,
sides can
well, you're
use
just
it.
if you're just
Yeah.
representing pocket eights, that's not very much.
Can Roger figure this out?
It's gonna take him a
I
while.
still think it's a little bit overrated because player pool on high stakes is so small that people know each other game so well that even like somebody comes with
definitely
another screen
suspicious.
name, they're gonna
yeah,
realize
It really is a
it's him very
strange
fast.
line, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I just feel like, what is?
It's a pretty bold move, and like.
but at the end of the day, will
although
Roger
the
just tell
high stakes
himself,
is only
this guy
75
doesn't
in
bluff?
it, Not even.
Did he
play.
bluff before?
Yeah, basically.
Well, he has made some bluffs, but none of them have gotten shown. I mean, how difficult is it for him to have a king jack of clubs here?
For
Feels like he would have bet the flop, right?
yeah, I mean, damn, people always bet their draws, and this is just like an ace-high board, which is like one of the boards that like people always like to see bet, and then like your flush draw as well, you bet that, and then it called Roger for yeah.
He gets it through, just based on reputation, perhaps. Table image.
That is true, yeah. He hasn't gotten out of line at all.
It is the rarest move in Holdem and Holdem, isn't it? The river
The
bluff.
river raise. The river bluff? Oh no, not really. I do.
The river raise, sorry, yeah, the river
river
raise.
raise. Yeah, it's. You usually don't get to a river where you would just do that. It's just. Well, first of all, you don't get to the river that often. And then you need to be able to raise, so it's just,
Well, then you have to show up there with nothing, and then you have to raise.
yeah. I don't like to get to the river with nothing. That's it's not a good strategy for the most part. It's better if you have something.
Yeah, he did really let loose there, Jungleman. That was basically a diatribe of poker philosophy.
Race 600.
He is, of course, no stranger to controversy in his sort of formative years on the internet. He got himself in a lot of pickle situations.
Call.
But I think
I'm
most,
asking how much, and he's got the aces. He just called. I love that play, actually. That's a great call.
is it on me? Or just flatting here, hoping he gets a squeeze
No, the
behind
call.
him?
The call is amazing, and it's not necessarily because he wants to get squeezed. It's mostly because like if he 3 bets there, Marvin is playing a stack of 45 big blinds, roughly, like 40-something big blinds. He's just going to fold most of his hands. And if you really think about it, if you want to stack someone, which is obviously what we want to do with aces,
1,000.
then this works really well for you if you just call there. You know, they can flop a pair.
But there is the danger. You let the blinds in, and now it comes a low paired board. You have to,
that's a pretty good
this,
board.
right?
This is a pretty good board for you.
Pass.
Marvin, get away from this cheaply.
Call.
Blinov's going to call.
And he's just going to let, as long as Roger leads, he'll just call, or do you think he's going to?
Heads up.
This is a 10
depend.
Yeah.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
It's really hard for Roger not to have a 10 or a 4 here.
Check.
Roger's always going to check the turn. Blinov's going to bet.
2,000 bet. City.
Thinking he has to get some value from a 10. Roger's going to call at least once.
Call.
And then the river's where it gets interesting?
Why not? This hand's not going to be very interesting. This should mostly go check, bet, fold on the river. Oh, if Roger wants to be a real hero, he could go for the check raise. Which is a lot better than just like hoping to get this to showdown by check calling.
Check.
Because if Blinov bets the river, his 10-8 is just like never good. Or 10-9, whatever, it's just not good.
Right.
He's losing to every 10. And Blinov is certainly betting like king 10 plus. And Blinov...
3,100.
He's bet less than half pot.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake.
Why?
He's never bluffing there. He always...
And he never has a 4 because he's bet so small?
Well, that is true as well. And like it just means he has like a 10 there. See, if he bet bigger, he could be polarizing himself. He could just... Then he might be bluffing, which I still think is unlikely. He's just hoping to get a crying call from a 10. But like, really, a 10-9 is just a horrible call if you think about it. There's no hand you can beat. It's absolutely... What do you beat? Do you beat like... No, I don't even see what you beat. There's like no draws, there's nothing.
And because it was a 4-way flop, it's really unlikely.
Which you let into and the guy called.
Right.
Do you think the guy's turning 7s into a bluff? No. It makes no sense to turn 7. Good fault by Roger.
He snuffed it out, and Blinov got some value from his aces.
Yep.
A few hours left in this big game, and 3 stacks on this table. Now $50,000 plus.
Yeah.
So a real chance of a 6-figure pot.
Would it be played like
40
hours, so I don't know if I'm even going to play it.
You want to take the under on a 6-figure pot?
Probably yes. Like I'm just so conservative.
Yeah, it's going to be like 14 hours.
Wow, this guy's smart.
I kind of feel like Blinov, while he was losing, he was quite happy to play all day and all night. Now he's gotten ahead a little bit. He's like, when does this game end anyway?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, he's got, you know, he's kind of had a rough go of it. You can't blame him. He's probably thinking, it'd be nice now to book a win, tell everybody, for everyone to say that you have to cash in. It's been a nice experience. He's been on TV.
Yeah, no, and he did all right, you know. He played some interesting hands. He won a few hands. Trickett, on the other hand, not doing all right. Definitely not. He doesn't want to go home, I don't think.
No.
He's going to gamble.
He's kind of pushing it a little bit right now, Trickett, isn't he? Do you feel that?
Absolutely, yes. That's what I said. Like, he's one of the players who just don't want to lose. And I don't think that's a good spot to 3-bet. How much are they playing?
It's Raul who's 3-bet this.
Raul is playing...
He's 3-bet this from the small blind.
Okay, I take back what I said.
Because of his stack size? Is he planning on calling a shot here? Yep.
So I would hope. He knows Trickett is gambling and...
Well, Trickett has shoved. I think Trickett shoved anyway. It looks like he's got a whole stack in there.
How is Raul not called by now? Get me back in this game.
Tell me why.
Because if you re-raise in that spot with a hand like ace-9, you're facing a Trickett open from the button. Okay. And you're playing like... Is there a straddle?
Yes.
Yes, there's a straddle.
So it's effectively 35 or 40 big blinds.
Yes, it's like less than 40 big blinds, and you're 3-betting. If you're 3-betting there, you have to have a plan in place, and your plan with ace-9 should entirely depend on how wide they're opening. So, give or take, Trickett opening the button. What do you think is the worst hand he's opening there? It's something ridiculous like queen deuce suited or something. He's always raising that.
You feel like Raul should never have done this without knowing what he was going to do if Trickett showed.
Absolutely. Ace-9 is a terrible hand to do that with if you don't know what you're doing. Ace-9 is also a horrible hand to 3. This is bad. This is bad. This is just... I say that a lot today, but I'm tired, I'm getting grumpy. Call some people out, that was bad.
I think honesty is fine. You explained why.
Yeah, just don't do that. I mean, the way to avoid this is just by looking at their opening percentage and then just like thinking about it. You know, if you have ace-9 there and you 3-bet, he's gonna. You expect him to fold like ace-5, ace-6, ace-7. So why on earth 3-bet an ace-9 when you can 3-bet an ace-deuce and get the same result? You get the same result. You get them the same. You know.
I wouldn't say that's true. I got a decent amount of small chips anyway.
Raise 1,500.
Constantine
Trickett
stepped it up, and yeah.
Trickett is just doing exactly what I said. He's just going to try to
put people in uncomfortable spots and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then just somehow try to get even. Marvin's not doing that at all, which is good.
That was the big hand I had.
You know, like I thought he might do it a little bit.
And does Constantine have a plan here if he misses the deuce?
How much did you call there? That's generally a pretty bad call. Don't do that. Calling 3-bets with deuces, even in position against a really good player, is generally not a good idea.
1,600 bet.
Here comes Trickett.
And it's actually a fairly good flop for the deuces. I mean, you know, there's not a lot of good flops, but it's pretty
really
good.
It's like one of the best flops for deuces. There's no deuce. If there's no deuce in it, you get what I'm saying? It's still not a good board for you. Because any 2 overcards are going to have plenty of equity, you know, they're going to have, you know.
Oh, that's just a gin card for Trickett. I wonder if he wins this pot.
Is this the gin card for Trickett? That's a good card. It's like not the best.
He really, it's actually not good enough to stop bluffing, is it? Because there's all those pocket pairs that still beat him.
Yeah, but he's never folding out a pocket pair. This bet is for value. Like he's expecting to get called by ace high, and he's gonna bet like 35 to 2,800, something like that. Maybe a bit bigger. Okay.
So you're saying he's doing this to he feels like Constantine has ace high quite often here?
Yes. I don't see why you would turn this into a bluff. This makes no sense. If you bluffing there, no. You're not getting 6s or something to fold. 6s or something are just gonna look at this turn card and call. Like the only way I can see him turning this into a bluff is if he wants to follow it up with a big river bet. Not a good strategy, I guess, because on the river he can check, and then like the guy with ace high is just gonna be like, okay, check, and he folds. Okay, fair enough.
He's kind of mixed sort of flashes of brilliance, Constantine, with a bit of a sloppy play.
The Party Poker Big Game continues here at the Memik Crystal Cove Hotel and Casino in Northern Cyprus after the break. Welcome back to the Memik Crystal Cove Hotel and Casino for the Big Game Season 7. There's just a few hours on the clock for the players to boost their profits or recoup their losses as we rejoin the action.
He certainly gave it a good lashing, Nikolay Blinov, and ends up leaving about 15,000 ahead.
Yeah, not bad for a day. You know, not bad for a day of work.
800 raise.
I want to see some action.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just a cooler that's going to get the action? There's got to be other ways.
No. Daniel Cates, 7. What?
He certainly has.
Oh man, this is just. And these two, I mean, if these two play a pot against each other, that's not gonna help me win. Because one of them is gonna have one too much.
Is there any way for Cates to win this pot?
900 bet.
No.
Call.
And it's over.
Is there a method to Cates' madness here?
Oh, now he might bluff. Now he might lose more. On that card, he might lose more. I thought that was just like a typical one bet and done situation. Not on that turn. On that turn, generally, this is like a spot where good players like to keep bluffing. And
4,000 bet.
Oh my gosh, has he bet 5,000?
is that Kate's? Did Kate's just overbet? Yes. This.
No, sorry, it's Roger. Bet 5,000.
Kate's.
As he's flatted here, Daniel?
Kate's goes for the classic. I don't have any equity. I'm gonna float. And
oh wow, he's got the flush card on the river.
What on earth is going on? It's just. What's Roger doing? What are both of them doing?
7,000 bet.
I feel like such a dumbass. How do you have a jack? Seriously.
Oh, what is?
An ace? Now I'm really confused.
I cannot have the jack here. Ace jack.
I didn't think you
Not
could have the
possible. I have the ace jack here.
I don't
I
think so.
told you the ace.
Oh,
I think
man.
you were at an ace turn
It
into
was
bluff.
very-
Why does he not check the river?
You
Why does he
was
not check
very
the river?
good.
I don't understand.
Ace.
Huh?
Very busy ace.
Is that just sort of a case of
Thank you for the gift.
Thank you.
Daniel trusts his reads?
Ace makes
I
me
mean,
think
to
I was
the
saying-
hilt, doesn't
I
it?
was saying, how does this pot get
Right.
any big?
I thought that you might have a flush draw. Guess what came on the river? Heart.
Huh? What you had? King? Nothing. You wanted to bluff me.
What would Daniel Case do if there was no
I wanted
poker?
to rebluff you. I wanted to call, and then like if you had a jack, you weren't gonna bet. If you had a jack, you'd bet the river. But if you didn't have a jack, you'd probably check.
We're gonna get some players.
That was a little too. That was a little too fancy, I think.
So he just.
Guess I punted some money though.
But that's just how he plays. He's
Small, big strength.
sometimes cash game players who are like, you know, high stakes players. They just can't help themselves. They just do that.
The jack you could have.
Stop the game.
400
Nobody.
plus.
He's an amazing guy, Daniel Cates. I mean, he's basically spewed like $7,000 with the deuce seven, and he's got a whole story about it that he enjoys telling.
And he keeps saying, you know,
And he's done it on TV, and it's just
he
like,
keeps saying, look, no one has pulled any big bluffs in this game, and then he tries to bluff me the next hand. It's just, oh, he's slightly drunk. Maybe that explains a few things.
What?
He's drinking.
850.
Wait, who else left the game? Never mind.
Let's just say I probably.
I think Constantinos has quit the game.
Constantine.
We've got a few new players coming in quite shortly to give this game a bit of a jolt.
Do you want to bet?
Two bottles of Corona. 2 bottles of Corona.
I'll put 100.
2 bottles of Corona.
My hand was thinking when it showed on. Oh wait, sorry. I didn't see.
2 bottles of Corona.
Well, Sertac Turker has gotten involved here from the small blind.
770.
Looks like we don't know Roger's cards.
2003.
2 bottles of beer. You must do a bottle of beer.
But clearly Roger's reading this as sort of a weak donk lead, a weak lead into the razor.
Yeah, 2 bottles.
Surely, yeah. That's what a lot of good players.
They're playing good.
Roger
Roger raised.
raising without any two here.
Did you just call the race with a gut? What?
No, yeah,
What?
yeah. Sertac let
Sergey
out.
bet, then called the race with a
You hadn't drunk 2 drinks, so I was like... That was not mine.
Kind of a scary card for Roger. If he has showdown value, would he likely check back? And if he's got nothing, he'll bet.
Well, even if he has nothing, he should probably check. Because I'd give the fast call there like some credit. Not a lot, but like quite some credit. Like I wouldn't think 7-4 is in his range.
Check.
Check. Yeah, it looks good.
So Turker may be able to win this with a bet on the river.
No, not on this river, I don't think, because it's quite possible that Roger has just been raising like hands with a random diamond, and then those are quite reasonable bluff raising hands on the flop. Like he could have like king jack with the jack of diamonds, which he just raised on the flop because he doesn't want to call the donk bet. Then he turns more equity on the turn and then checks it back. So that makes sense. And this river bet,
2,450 bet.
and look around from the other perspective. How many diamonds does Turker have the way he played it?
Now everybody bluffing.
So the more Big Roger thinks about this, is it the more likely he is to call or fold?
Oh my god, with the 3 of diamonds there. Yeah. Wait, what is going on in this? Am I just...
Well, Turker's, well, he's called him.
He's called him.
Show me, Sally.
Showdown.
It's a good call, Big Roger.
I know, everybody want to bluff me now.
Ha! That was a pretty bad bluff, by the way.
But Roger,
I'm on fire. I'm calling off
he
people
has
play
played
bad.
that hand perfectly, hasn't
Yes, absolutely.
he? Raising the flop, checking back the turn, paying off on
And
the
then,
river.
like, then the guy just bluffs into him, representing basically nothing, but thinking, oh, 4 diamonds, I got a bet.
It must
Well,
have had. I guess
against
he
someone
had it, I don't
who's
know.
good, you can't really just bet a 4 diamond board.
Still talking about that hand.
Did I?
I made some. There's like a stretch where I made a bunch of hands. That's true, but
I heard pretty much all the hands you had.
huh?
So people texting me pretty much a lot of the hands you had.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yuri, anyway,
That's
only
only-
in for 10,000. He's a
Okay,
local
I'll take it.
player.
Thank you.
And I believe he's just
I like 6 hands.
coming up from downstairs. He's probably actually dropping down in stakes to play in this game. They're playing quite big down there, aren't
I don't
they?
think so. No, not no
right
limit.
now?
Not no limit. PLO is quite high, but like no limit. Like the highest you can play is probably like 25, 50. Those are usually quite good, nice games. So I just
How much?
7.
And for the friend? I don't make a price.
Also 7.
Friendly
I'll
press.
tell you one thing, Trickett, who's losing about 10,000, I mean, it's going to be the kind of thing, isn't it, where he's going to walk back to his hotel room and think to himself, how did I lose in that game, right?
how did he lose in this game? He tried to pull a pretty stupid bluff on Palteki if you want to be.
He had the wrong customer, didn't he?
Post flop,
Yes.
I mean, it was a highly sophisticated bluff, but Pelteki just was like, I want to see what you have.
I have 2 pair. And you don't bluff those people.
1,000.
I think it's like Luke Schwartz has this theory. People just don't fold a flush.
That's true.
That's his
People don't fold full houses. That's a real theory. Like even if there's 3 6s on board and they have deuces, they don't fold because you know.
You are doing too much.
Huh?
You are doing too much.
Big Roger was telling him that he is trying too much. I mean,
Check.
He's trying to slow him down with words.
We must bet. If you don't bet, I bet me.
Check, check.
I love this. It's great. If you don't bet, I bet big. He immediately goes to his chips.
I don't think he's going to bet on that card.
2,000 bet.
That's Big Roger. We just don't understand.
Daniel wants to raise so bad, and then he thinks he may get called. Is that
Yeah,
what's
this
going
time
on?
he's getting called. Oh, what the? I don't know.
Call.
He's called?
Showdown.
Ace Jack.
I know you have ace jack. I say you have they call me with the phone. They say me have ace jack.
Look at Daniel. He's been so owned there.
Oh my God.
He's just been...
Unbelievable.
Oh my God, Daniel.
How can I do that?
I thought that was good when he said that.
I gotta stop. I can't even win a pot.
I'm playing terrible.
Oh, Daniel Cates.
Oh yeah, I
He
did.
hates life right now. But
I
2 new players at this table, and Yuri Keidar coming in for 10,000.
Marvin hasn't played a hand in a while. What's up to him?
Some hands in great spots.
Come on, Yuri.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Roger's going to win the title of biggest winner, I think.
Doesn't really matter.
It does look like it. There's quite a few short stacks, and this our other new player. Now, he's quite well known.
I love this guy. He's great.
Tell us about it.
He had King High.
He's Martin Kabrhel. You should know him.
He's like a play for stacks.
He's Austrian, isn't he?
No, he's Czech.
Czech.
Not a good spot.
Said he's in for 5.
For 5.
Surprises me because he's
right.
Usually like known to buy him for a lot of money.
No, not that hand.
Board came Ace King 3. Check raise you.
Yeah.
All right. What do you have? 7 down.
Would he be one of the guys who you think is quite a strong player in this game, or just sort of unpredictable?
He's one of those players who might actually end up as the biggest winner at the end of the night.
Even starting from 5,000?
Even starting right now, yes.
100, 200, yeah?
And here we go.
Make it 6.
Oh, you really do know who he is.
He's awesome.
Okay.
A nice guy too, really nice.
I would have raised back for sure. If you, unless I had Ace Queen or something. Unless I had Ace Queen.
600.
6.
5K.
This is gonna be awesome. Roger is calling with a 4 and a mystery card.
You had, the board came 7, 7, 8. Roger 3 bet the flop and you shoved. You clearly had trips or a boat.
Yeah, that was a good spot. That spot, I think.
2 amazing spots. Then you flopped a set when you peeled 3400 versus me. It's not the spot. Like the most nutted spot you can get.
So is Kabrhel just a guy who just is full on all the time?
That's just the one.
Double up or go home sort of
Kabrhel's an
guy?
action player, and there will be plenty of action now. We'll see.
And that's the ones I don't know about.
Well, at least a pair for Raj.
I mean, generally when you see 1 4 in there, you kind of expect that there's another 4 in the hand. Not with Roger. The other one could be a 5, a 6, or a 7, or an ace.
600 bet.
A lot of cards.
Like 2, 3, 3, or 2, 3.
No, I didn't have anything.
I guess there's a real chance that Martin Kabrhel will last exactly one hand in this big
Nah,
game.
he's going to rebuy.
I had a 4. I had Ace 4 o'clock.
1 time 2,000. 1,200.
I had some good spots.
What does this
but
mean to you?
not
He's,
anything.
I think he's clicked it here, has Roger.
Most of the spots are good.
Was it 3 4s
Like that
when he clicks it like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's you can't continue really on any of
It's
the
Roger.
The 3 on.
It's not true.
3 with
Marvin? How's it going?
Pass. Pass. Call.
Limp in for Roger. Daniel's limped in behind him.
Marvin on the button with ace 5.
Call.
Man, I want to see some real action here. Just limping is just not cool.
Call.
Why not, says Uri Keidar.
It's boring.
Well,
We need
listen,
action.
don't worry. Martin Kabrhel's in the straddle position. He'll
Oh,
fire it in, right?
No, I mean,
There's 1,200 here. He could just ship it. He's only got 3,600.
ship. That'd be awesome.
Shouldn't he ship quite often here?
Boom.
All in.
You called this one. Nice. What does he have? It's a dream spot to chip. I didn't even see that.
Pass.
With a lot of hands, right?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know. I want to know what he has. You guys have all donated $200 to Martin Kabrhel.
Well, it's quite interesting. Marvin's actually thinking about calling because...
No, Marvin is just very slow. He does that. I'm just mocking him. There's no way he ever calls.
He's just very slow. Well, he had at least 1-6.
No, he takes his time, but I don't. He has 1-6.
Could have been anything then, right?
No, this guy, it could have been anything, yes.
Yeah, I would have. I like your better.
Raul,
Check the river. He's got the 8K.
Olarescu is going to take a break. Looked like he enjoyed himself, but could not seem to make a hand.
I would have won like 70K in your seat.
I'll bet heavily against that. I'll bet heavily against that. Can we please put? I'll give you odds too.
There's no way of proving
it. 3 to 1.
There's no way of proving it. How much did you win? 30K.
Something like that.
I would have definitely. I would have at least 150 for sure.
I'll bet against that as well.
I know some spots that you know.
I'll bet against that as well. I'll give you 2 to 1. 2 to 1.
11k first hand. First Roger 7-7-8 board. That was slaughtering 11k.
What?
You shipped in on the flop.
Well, he made it like 6k. I had like 6k left.
I didn't. Can't lie.
Huh?
You can't just lie. He didn't.
What?
This is great.
That was slaughtered money. That was. Come on, stay Jungle. I want you trying to rile you up. To make you stay. Come on, you can stay.
That's not gonna work. That's not how it works. now I'm getting berated. I feel like a fish now.
You should, Daniel. You should.
It's saying I played bad.
No, I think you're a good
Marvin
player.
raising.
You play your best today.
I think I played just pretty good.
Just got a few hands wrong. That's all. Happens.
I got some hands wrong. Yeah.
Daniel's made this 700 a 3-bet for Martin. Yeah.
Marvin's strategy has been to 3-bet a lot. Like,
yeah.
How much did you make it?
Well,
isn't it a good idea to 3-bet the drunk guy with a bluffing hand there?
17.
I don't know. Depends on how drunk Daniel is. I don't even know.
Too small.
Ooh. Hold.
You know what?
Oh my God! I'm not sure what Marvin is thinking right now.
Well, it's really one of the all-time great rationales for making a call in poker.
I fold.
Let's have a look, Jungle, what you call with.
Kind of see that. It wasn't that bad of a hand.
Ah, that's all right.
Like he gave me like 2.5 to 1. I just need to flop a flush draw or an ace.
An 8 you're going with too.
It's a little bit problematic.
We'll be back for more from the Marriott Crystal Cove Hotel and Casino as the big game continues after the break. Welcome back to the Party Poker Big Game. We're well into the night in this 12-hour continuous cash game coming to you from the Marriott Crystal Cove Hotel and Casino in Northern Cyprus. Let's head back into the action.
It'll be a shame to see Daniel Cates go, but the Jungleman has been hugely entertaining to watch in this game. How did he finish up, Daniel Cates? Still winning in the game, though. Still ahead about 20,000 in the end.
This is not the first time that Jungleman's been here playing the big game, but this time he's walking away with a profit. But it seems like there's a sense of, I don't know, frustration almost as you're leaving. Is that right?
Well, frustration's like kind of an exaggeration. If I'm frustrated that I won $20,000, life's going to be kind of tough. But I'd like to win more. Let's just put it that way.
Let's talk about the dynamic at the table then. Is that what you would have expected sitting down?
Sort of. I don't really know the other guys. I guess they're like tournament players or something because they're just like raising and re-raising all the time. Yeah, I mean, like mostly tournament players do that. And then I actually thought I'd play a little bit more passive pre-flop, but oh well.
Will we see you coming back for another big game? You give it another shot?
Yeah, sure. I gotta win my money back somehow. Like they still have all my money. Like they won 100,000 off me. I only won like 20 back.
This is step 2 in a very long saga, I'm sure. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Who can topple Big Raj right now for the title of the big winner in the big game? I feel like Martin's got the best chance.
Martin.
550 raise. Pass.
I mean, I feel like this one's in the back, really, and yeah. Trickett? No.
A little 3-bet, perhaps. He does put a lot of pressure.
Trickett's just also going completely wild.
Pass. Call.
It's very hard to play against, though, unless you really step up the level of aggression yourself.
I mean, it's also
right?
a very, very bad strategy to keep calling out of possession.
Right.
Just don't do that. You know? If the guy's 3-betting King 10, what on earth are you doing calling a Queen 10? It's just...
He's kind of flopped the joint.
So, did he?
Flush draw into straight draw?
Okay, that's good. No, he doesn't. Trickett's favorite.
2,100 bet.
How about that?
It's a rainbow board. No, is it? It's two spade. My eyes are really bad, but this is a flush draw as well.
I feel like there's a flush draw.
There is a flush draw. Ah, Turk.
Call.
Like he did flop the joint.
Feels like he would be better than 33% here. Maybe not. The odds never lie.
Well, now it's 100. How about that?
No, I think Sam's got the king of clubs.
Oh. I'm just not very smart. I don't play this game very much. Well, okay, so Sam's gonna keep betting at this card.
It feels like
After
Turker's
asking-
probably got an ace here.
After asking how much Turker has.
7 yellow. 6, 8, 9,
10.
10.
Okay.
Okay, then now he might check back because that stack size is really awkward. You don't want to bet and get shoved on. If you get shoved on here, then you're just like... There's another option here. He bets really small. He bets like 2 to 3k.
1,500 bet.
Okay, doesn't not. That was this time I got something correct. Yay.
It is really small, but less. It's about a fifth of the pot.
That's what I said. I said 2 to 3, and that's. Here comes the old. Do I have it? Well, do you have it? The good old do I have it and then check raise is usually the nuts. Just a thought, you know, it's just.
5,500 raise.
And not going all in when you're pretty much committed to the pot is also a classic Italian. You pretty much have the nuts. So throw your hand in the muck, Trickett. Let's move on.
He hates getting bet off of the nut flush draw, though, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, but there's nothing he can do. He's bluffing the turn. Like he's only gonna get there, you know. If his opponent doesn't have any clubs, he's only gonna get there like 18% of the time. So really.
You're not crazy about that call.
That's a terrible call.
If Turker was a lot deeper, it'd be different.
Yes, but even then it would be a bad call. Because like you have no implied odds. On like a 4-club board, your implied odds of making the flush there are like non-existent. What do you expect to get called off by? Exactly, the queen, yes, but then what if he has 7-8 of clubs? You know, like then he's probably just gonna check fold the river because like most clubs beat him now. And now you get to the river and you're gonna end up folding all the time. And this bet just screams, I have the nuts. I mean, I guess I was also assuming it. If he had a queen, that'd be live, and like if he makes the hand, then he's gonna win.
Only one choice.
I don't want to see one.
Oh man, this is just.
I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it. Well, and don't get yourself into that spot. That was not very good.
Well, here's the big winners in the big game, and Dominic Nietzsche right now.
I can't win. You were lying to me.
You're right.
Damn it.
Alexei Rubin is already in the clubhouse with 20,000. Daniel Case 22,000, but for Big Raj.
Daniel Case is gone. He can't.
Right, there's two guys in the. You have to get back in the game. Sit on Roger's left.
Yes, and just like punish him. Biggest losers.
This is always a more interesting list.
Martin Kabrhel, $850. I'm sure that will hurt.
But of
Marvin,
course, Marvin around 30,000 loser.
Marvin can just do some damage to Roger.
400 raise.
I mean, it wouldn't be a huge turn up for Marvin to double through, get moving, and end up even in this game, would it?
No, not at all. That's quite possible. I was down to 8-4 or something. I don't know. I had very few chips. Just a few hands here and there, and that's all it takes. And
1,100 raise.
Marvin
Three bet from the small blind against the Roger Open.
Marvin's strategy is a lot more 3-bet heavy than like anyone else's at this table. Not sure that's generally the right strategy in it. In a tournament where, in a cash game where people just love to call.
Chinese say when you put 400, you can put 11. Chinese say that.
I don't think the Chinese actually say that.
Call.
But Big Roger, if Big Roger says that, then it's probably fine.
It's an amazing proverb.
It's a If you put 400, you put 1100. Yeah, really? Fours are unlucky in Chinese cards.
Oh boy.
I mean, this.
It looks like a great flop for the 3-better, except.
Nah.
No?
That's just. It looks like a board where you should bet once and then be absolutely done with the hand. Just
1,400.
Just like this.
It does feel like Roger could make things really interesting by trying to fast play this, wouldn't you say?
No, you should call here. Marvin is not that deep. Like, it's a lot better to keep him bluffing.
8.
Which he might do at some point. You know, he might fire a second one. Or if he has an ace, to let him value tone himself. If he's, you know, if he's on air, you know, and if he has an ace and he checks the turn, then we can play for stacks anyways. But he just said all in. And here comes the Matt Marvin tank.
That absurd.
No, there's no Matt Marvin tank.
I'm not that crazy, he says.
You got big.
Says I play very bad, very bad.
The Chinese say that.
Believe me.
Oh man, I love Big Roger. This is so much fun.
I play very, very bad.
I wasn't here, but I can't believe that.
$47,900, very bad. Doesn't seem so bad. Every big game has a different sort of feel. This one has been actually, yeah, a lot of action in big pots, but
make some re-raise, make action. We are sleeping now. Uri likes this. Uri.
What? Your turn.
Uri likes this.
Your turn, your turn.
He like.
Call.
Let's see. Get some action, guys. Do something interesting.
Yeah.
This game is starting to feel like a home game now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't look your card.
Sort of very traditional in the party poker big game that it just denigrates into complete chaos by the end.
Yeah, when everyone's trying to get even and just looking at the board. Looks like everyone but Roger has some serious work to do, and
all in from Kabrhel.
Pass. 3,750.
Keidar's gonna call. Yep. Flips.
He certainly has. And the boys will flip it.
I think if Kabrhel loses, this might be good for the game, because then here comes the rebuy, and then it's...
That was the easiest pre-flop shove I've ever seen in my life. Wasn't it? Dead money and then call, yeah.
I mean, I'm not such a good player. I need to think about it, yeah?
No, I didn't.
I love Martin Kabrhel.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant...
He's funny.
I would have done it with, like, everything.
Why check? 10 is better.
Well, there's a few split pots out there, and
The split pots are boring.
7.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
No, 7.
I wasn't being
2, 3, 4.
9 jack or 10, I think. Kabrhel to take the whole thing.
Surprised you even had
That's not one. Big pot for Uri Keidar.
I really would have done that.
Nobody can win. Only Uri.
I just got.
Martin's having a little look in his pocket, which seems to be stuffed with chips.
Searching for more 5K chips.
Can you give me poker chips for that?
20,000 buy-in for Memik Caliskan.
Yeah.
And boy, the timbre of this game has really changed when you consider the opening lineup. No more Jungleman, no more Nietzsche.
Yeah, there's no more Grinder.
No
who's
more
there quite early.
Schemelev.
Schemelev.
Mizrachi.
Pass.
It's quite a different game, but now we have Marvin, we have we still have Trickett.
It feels
still
like
have Roger.
Pass.
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 Raise.
Raise. Okay. Please, can I have change? Wait.
No, I looked at it.
Okay. 600 raise. Go.
Sam Trickett raising this one out of the big blind. I'll give you action, says Raj. I can outflop you, says Raj.
Check.
Of course you can. He's big Roger.
Check.
Check.
Checking this back is probably a clear mistake. Shouldn't be giving any overs, any free cards on that board, and oh no, you just get a bet to protect your hand, like bet to get one more street out of ace high, which is probably gonna call. Yeah, you should bet the 6-5.
Call.
Great spot now for Trickett. Will he fire the river?
Yes.
If nothing changes.
Yes, absolutely yes. You're still gonna fire that river. That's pretty solid river. He's gonna bet right around 2K, a little less maybe. And
3,000 bet.
He's gone for a Jungleman like pot-sized bet.
that's not a process bet. It's 2,000 and 228. It's what I said. He's gonna bet 2,000 and he bet 2,000.
Cards moving quite fast here.
Yeah.
Tristan Forget, $10,000.
I like how they keep bringing new players in, you know. That's kind of...
It does feel like, I mean, you do get the feeling that the poker room is completely chock-a-block.
Yes. I can go to bed, okay. I'm gonna go, get some sleep. You'll play the main event tomorrow. I'm gonna leave you with Jesse and Mike. So you guys have some fun. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be back some point. So, see ya.
Sounds good. We'll let you know if you, Dominic, we'll let you know if you end up winning biggest winner. It's going to involve some serious play by Raj.
All right, someone get this Russian guy out of bed, and
Raj,
someone
yeah.
tell Marvin that we need him to win a lot of money because he's down. I'll finish this hand though. It's kind of interesting. We have kings for Sertac, Turker, and ace queen for Marvin, and Marvin's kind of short stacked, so ace queen is a powerhouse here. And as much as I'd like to see him win, I don't like his chances here. It's
2,400 re-raise. Pass.
Yeah. Alright, this is... Turker's just gonna go through his typical Hollywood here.
He did dwell for quite a long time, and the question is, when he does shove this all in,
is he just...
Has he called?
No,
he's clicked it back.
I hate that play. I'll be honest, I absolutely hate that play. He's kind of giving away his hand strength to the other players. Marvin doesn't really matter much because he's committed at this point. He put in so much money he can't fold, even if he shows kings.
Call. Showdown.
But the other players, they were just like, we know he has kings. And Marvin knows he has kings too, but he can't fold.
You have aces? No. Queens? Ace queen?
No, just a second.
Just the second nuts, yeah. See, Marvin's kind of expecting aces at this point. So like, we'll just get him an ace.
Rettenmaier all in for, well, it's about a $17,000 pot.
Oh, we got a sweat.
I believe he does have a sweat.
Chop.
Chop out.
Chop.
Any spade.
7 of spades.
I was playing open face with him, and he does make a lot of pairs, straights, and flushes, so I like his chances here. Marvin runs good.
Number.
Flush.
No.
Alright. We lose Marvin, and we also lose me in the booth, so
all right, thanks,
I'll see you guys
Dominic.
at some point.
Good luck
Bye.
tomorrow. Boy, after that flop and turn, it did look like Marvin Rettenmaier had nearly the world for at least a split pot. It just has not gone his way tonight. This is
We're gonna need more money here.
it is the poker player's dilemma. Game is good. Send more money.
Gonna get another 20.
We'll be playing through the night here in Cyprus, so who'll end up the biggest winner and the biggest loser as the clock ticks up to 12 hours of continuous cash game play? Back in a moment. Deep into the night here in Cyprus as poker's most popular cash game heads to a close. Egos have been bruised and pockets have been emptied, all in the name of fun at the Party Poker Big Game. Now back over to your hosts.
Sertac Turner, who only came in with 20,000, already ahead 12,000. Easy peasy. Try and make some quick money during this last hour. Sam Trickett, who had got nearly even in this game after being stuck, about 25, 30,000, now down to nearly where he started, buried 20K. Just feeling very ropey out there for everybody but Big Raj. Everything he does turns to gold.
It's almost as if Marvin doesn't realize the action's on him. I wonder if he's gotten to that stage of this poker game yet. Actually, I think he's thinking about making a move here. Whether or not it's a good spot hardly seems relevant right now. Point is it is a spot.
18.
Okay. 1,800 re-raise.
Looking forward to getting Mike Peltecki in here. I bet he knows a few things about these players.
Pass.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Now, I guess my first question for you, because obviously your brother Robert had a good time out there. Is he the player in the family, or are you the player in the family?
Oh. That's a good question.
You want to be honest, but you can't be.
Yeah. I need to be politically correct here. Wow. Rettenmaier flopped a wheel.
Yeah, it's about time Marvin had a little bit of luck. He's losing $40,000 in this game already.
Wow.
And,
might get some action here.
I think so.
2 overcards with a flush draw.
Now, you, of course, running this poker room and the casino, know a lot of these local guys. What do you know about Memik Caliskan? Is he a local player?
He's a local player. He's actually from Turkey, but he's he can be wild. You know, he can get it in there. That's what I thought. He's gonna raise. There he goes. He doesn't mind sticking it in there.
Check raise on the flush draw, but I believe he's going to have to hit to win this pot.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say, Marvin. I mean, he just rebought for 20,000, and every chance he's going to get it all in the first hand.
Absolutely. Well, he doesn't mind getting it in here. I mean, he knows he's probably up against a flush draw. That's actually the worst case scenario for him. Obviously, 3-6 would be the worst case, but
Yeah, I mean, when you flop the joint like this, you're really expecting to be better than 60%, aren't you?
For sure.
And he's decided just to call.
Wow. That's great.
Call.
I wonder if that's just in case Caliskan's bluffing, give him a chance to bluff the turn, or is it just in case Caliskan has a flush draw, give him a chance to fold the turn?
Well, he probably is going to check here, yeah. Give him a chance to bluff it all off.
Check.
Oh, wow.
Well, he may end up not getting stacked off here.
Wow. Might have decided to play a little pot control, but
Yeah, it does kind of feel like, you know, maybe Marvin has found a way to risk losing the maximum without being able to win it. Certainly, Memik's feeling great now.
of course. Yeah, he got 2 free cards. And I think a bet here makes no sense by Marvin, but he might go ahead and do it. Obviously, I could see the whole cards, but
Yeah, because we were talking, I kind of missed the pre-flop action. I wonder if it's in Marvin's mind, perhaps, that Memik could have a big pair here or something like that. But
or he's going to get some value out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can't do anything but pass now.
He's just posturing.
But so it just feels like obviously
He lost a lot of value there.
Yeah. Since a couple of the guys that got knocked out the last few hours, it seems like there's an endless stream of bodies coming up from the poker room. I mean, it's packed down there for this week, isn't it?
It's a really big week here. Everyone waits for this tournament. We get players from, I mean, you name it, we get it. We might have 30 or 40 different nationalities down in the poker room.
A lot of people who haven't been here to North Cyprus don't realize how luxurious this resort, and of course the one down the road is, Mike. I mean, talk about all-inclusive.
We
guys go all out.
Yeah, we actually have. You couldn't spend money in our resort even if you wanted to. We have 3 hotels here, 3 hotels and casinos just on this part of the bay, and we have a 4th hotel and casino in Nicosia, in Lefkosia, in the northern part of Cyprus. We're in Kyrenia. Our other hotel, we're called the Merit Crystal Cove. Then we have the park, the Merit Park. That's about 3 or 4 kilometers down the road. And we just built the new Royal Hotel, and everything in our facility is all inclusive.
Completely. There is no way. There is no way to
spend
pay.
money. You just can't spend any money. So there's no sense in bringing money. You just come in and once you wire your money in, there's really no purpose for having any cash on you. And I think that's why we built this concept, because it's a beach resort and people want to swim, and dealing with money is a little bit of a burden in these, you know.
You can gamble, however.
Yeah, you can gamble.
Yeah,
you can definitely gamble.
The game, it was boring. One of the worst football matches I've ever been to at Old Trafford. Really?
We have 2 10s.
It was like
Caliskan's holding 2 10s.
No.
Oh, you didn't know.
It's like David Moyes wanted to treat it as like
Jack 3.
friendly.
We might get some action here.
The right atmosphere wasn't there. Like, you want a few old players playing a bit of fun and stuff. It was like almost competitive, and it was awful and got beat. So it's like.
Sam Trickett's talking about a party poker tournament that took place at Old Trafford last week, and he's a huge Man United fan, Sam Trickett. It was a 200-pound tournament, but because it was at Man United, Sam was playing like it was the biggest tournament he ever played in. He won.
We drank like three days.
180 players.
Everybody's drinking.
Wow.
Good fun.
And then donated nearly all the money he won to Rio Ferdinand's charity, which was quite nice of him.
Yeah, Sam. I met Sam 4 years ago when Full Tilt was running. When Full Tilt did a lot of events for us, he's a really nice guy. I think he's from. I don't know exactly where he's from. I know he's from England, but I don't know what part of England.
The north, anyway. That's about as much as I know.
Yeah.
But
7,000.
well, this is an interesting raise by Yuri Keidar, who you said was quite a snug player, and
Showdown.
9-10.
that's what Caliskan thinks. He's thinking, well, I need help if Yuri's putting me all in here with the. But as it is, Keidar's really to win the pot. He's drawing to just the 2 7s.
It must be.
Yeah. 9 and chop. 5 now.
Chop is right.
He's usually very snug. Surprised.
5, 7.
Probably saw an opportunity and wanted to take it.
Yeah, felt like he could use his image there against Memik. And that'll make Memik feel good. Nice to win a big pot on the TV table.
How's he doing? How's Mehmet doing? Is he stuck?
No, he's only been playing for about 45 minutes, I think, and he's in for 20,000, so he's ahead a few. It's been very international, this big game. I mean, we had the Romanian player come through. Certainly got a Czech player, Greek players. We said Turkish, Northern Cyprus players. It's been all kinds.
A Cypriot, actually from Cyprus. His name is. Oh, I guess there's a raise coming.
Is that Constantine?
Constantine.
Yeah.
1,600 raise.
And of course, big supply of Russians. You know that Schemelev has got a huge reputation, doesn't he?
Call him Vova, yes. He's very, very good.
Actually, I think he chased his reputation chased Dominic Nietzsche off the table. Dominic said, they said Shemelev's coming. Dominic said, I'm quitting.
How did Dominic end up doing?
He won. He bought in for 10,000 and he played a $3,000 stack for quite a while, and I think he ended up winning about 25. So, Jungleman made a huge bluff against Dominic, and he picked it off. So I think he felt pretty good. Sometimes things like that to these guys mean as much as the actual result.
Sure, of course. I guess my brother was happy. He
won. I mean, he really owned Trickett there. Yeah, that was a great hand.
This was an overbet, I think.
It was very tough. I mean, Kelly Kim was in here. He loved the bet that Trickett made. Thought it was a world-class
Who was in
bluff.
here?
Kelly Kim. Yeah, thought it was actually a couple of hands. Thought it was a great bluff by Trickett. Said there's pretty much no way Robert can call this. No sooner had they got the words out of his mouth, but Robert kind of said, "What the hell?"
I think Mehmet is trying to bluff against the wrong guy. He's in check call mode, Roger.
Yeah. Yeah, well spotted.
Check.
Of course, when the pot starts to get big like this, he's still got about 15,000 back, Memik.
Oh,
But he may have to use it all. I mean, there comes a point, really, when that King Jack is just a bluff catcher. You know, that's a bet that's big enough where Raj can only beat a bluff now, really.
7,000 bet.
But he could be bluffing with a lot of hands here. He could turn 9s, 10s into bluffs.
Yeah.
Trying to get King to lay down, although I don't see Roger laying this hand down.
Just wonder, I mean, if there's one reason that he would lay it down, you know, he's got the win locked up. And I wonder if Memik knows that.
Well, he sees all those chips in front of him. I think Roger's contemplating the river bet Mehmet has. He's pretty much committed, so feels if he calls him here, he might shut down on the river. I think Roger's going to call.
He hasn't really looked over yet. He usually kind of tries to get a little bit of information from his opponent. I mean, he's a good... There he goes.
11, 12,000.
Oh. He's a good watcher, isn't he?
I don't know what Roger's going to do. He's contemplating folding now.
It's a good thing, though. It's a big bet. He's entitled to take his time, isn't he? See if Memik cracks.
4.
Wow.
He's lost about 6 pounds and 3 years off his life, Memik. How good does that feel? He just bluffed the great.
How big was that pot?
I mean, it was 19,000, I guess.
Wow. That was a very, very good bluff.
Who's up? Who's down as the time runs out in the big game? We're back from the Marriott Crystal Cove after the break. Welcome back to the big game in Cyprus. Our second stop of season 7 is drawing to an end as the clock counts up to 12 hours played. It's the last chance remaining for our players to make their move.
Well, there comes a time in every poker game when the losers have been playing for many, many hours and they look up, look across the table and think to themselves, when did that guy sit down? And, I can imagine that's what Sam Trickett and Marvin Rettenmaier are thinking right now. I mean, Marvin might not even realize that Keidar is sitting next to him. He might not even know that Forget has joined the game. All he's thinking is, I need to win a pot, any pot. And I don't care if it takes a 9-10 to do it.
Maybe I call you with a trick.
13.75.
Great spot, of course, for Forget, but it is that time of night when things get a little loopy. Throw those percentages out the window. Marvin's going to get sticky here. You can feel it.
Well, I think this is the very first hand Tristan Forget has been involved with. Do you know much about him?
I don't.
Guy's just coming out of the woodwork for this tournament.
Is he French? I'm not sure. I don't know him.
I'm guessing as well. 1650 bet and called. And that's the gin card.
What a card, but I don't think he can get action with that card now. I think Marvin just shuts down. He might call because he's got an open-ended draw, I believe.
Yeah, he's only got a pot-sized bet back here. There's Tristan. He's just trying to give Martin a little rope, hoping maybe the 8 pops off on the river.
Marvin won't bet here. He's too smart.
8 would be deadly. It
Yeah,
really
sure
would be.
The 9, wow.
That's not much.
That's
better.
actually a kind of a doubly card too. There's a lot of hands that he can beat now. Ace Jack, Ace 10, Ace Queen. Checks twice. Can Marvin bet for value here?
That's a real sneaky check. I'm not really sure about that. I mean,
Puts
it's
him on
very
Ace Jack.
thin.
He played it like he played Ace Jack.
I guess so. Feels like a really thin value bet here.
Yeah.
Check. Showdown, please.
And Marvin has found the check. That'll make him feel pretty good.
Really?
That is good.
Okay. Maybe double check it.
I don't really like the way Tristan plays his hand, but
no. Better to.
His stack's small enough where he's going to get called off. I think he can definitely get value out of that hand on the end.
You can't always expect others to do the betting for you, can you? Not in this game.
Yeah. I thought that Marvin would check behind.
Well, it looks like for the last half hour, there's only one man who's willing to sit in here. Mr. Warren Lush, returning to your commentary, you were commentating in the big game 6.
I certainly was, but there's no Tony G tonight. And I've been getting messages on Facebook about Tony, because apparently all the shows are showing in the Southern Hemisphere, and people are going, why is he so abusive to you? You should leave him.
Of course, yeah, after the last Premier League in London and the big game 6, people are wondering. And you know, this is the first big game in a long time without Tony G. Where is Tony G?
Tony G is in Tony Resort, as far as I know. I got a text message from him earlier on, and I know he's still watching. So here we go.
Yeah, Memik's gotten very busy right now. This is his 3rd hand in the row. It's kind of like he's still basking in the afterglow of getting the big bluff through against Raj. And actually, we could have a lot of action on this flop. Hard to see that Marvin is going to fold to the 1 bet here. But with both Memik and Yuri Keidar having flush draws, the pot could really get big. I mean, Yuri's only got 6,000 in front of him. He could easily just check raise all in. I think a lot of players would here. He's got the nut flush
Who is
draw.
the big winner in the game?
Yeah, it's hard to see him doing anything else.
Jungleman won.
And
there we go.
yeah. Memik's going to call for sure,
Jungleman should have
and
won.
be very surprised to see how few outs he has.
He should have won way more.
See, Sam's saying what I said earlier on and what Jungle said. He should have won way more.
And very hard to see. Now, he would have to put both players on draws, and even then he's in tough shape. Almost impossible, I think, for Marvin to do anything but pass here.
Yeah.
When it's like that.
But Marvin is chasing his losses.
So hard to have it.
I mean, I guess I think it's really going out on a limb, but perhaps if he thinks he's beating Memik Caliskan, knowing that Yuri's all in, he might want to create some kind of a side pot here. Wow, he's called.
You mad?
Did you start that, you mad? Of course, everybody knows when Marvin won the WPT championships, the hats went on, the caps were all around. Oh, and that's a great card for Marvin. I just wonder if he's, well, he's. What am I asking you for?
Sorry, the commentary box just got invaded, which shouldn't happen. It kind of reminds me of a time in Montreal where a guy heard the commentary that was going on and decided that he was going to storm the commentary box despite there being loads of security outside. And this was at a WPT Montreal last year.
Dude, how far did he get?
Oh, the guy from Poker News, he was very scared.
Well, Mad Marvin Rettenmaier has managed to win this pot.
Wow, go Marv.
He had absolutely, really, just a terrible hand. He's either, I think he's somewhere between very clever and very desperate. I'm not sure which side of the line he's on.
So I was talking to him earlier. He hasn't played any poker at all for a month and a half.
He has looked a little rusty, but you know, Marvin right now is a guy like Dominic Nietzsche. He's on fire right now, the way he's, you know, in general, on the tour and on the circuit.
And he also has a really good record here at Cyprus.
Yeah.
So everyone knows he won last year, the WPT, but he's won some side events previously because there's a horrendous picture of him in a rainbow jersey up on the wall downstairs in the poker room.
It's a Grateful Dead tie-dye.
Oh, okay.
Tie-dye T-shirt.
It's like a Tony G.
A rainbow jersey.
A rainbow jersey.
Haven't you heard of the 60s?
Oh, okay. I wasn't born then. Oh, here we go. So he's just, yeah, that's a nice thing for Marvin. He's starting to come back.
It is quite good. I mean, he was, I don't know how he managed to win that pot, but I'll tell you, this Marvin Rettenmaier has got heart.
We're bringing you all the action from the Party Poker Big Game at the Merit Crystal Cove Hotel and Casino. It's a stunning setting here in northern Cyprus, but there is no time for our players to bask in the sun when there's money to be won. We're heading back inside now to rejoin the action.
Dead and buried, $35,000 stuck. And he's come all the way back. Probably feels like if this game could go on a little longer, he could get himself even.
Yeah, I think he's going to be screaming, no, don't end now. I definitely think these guys that have come in the last couple of hours that have added a new dynamic.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, this Memik in particular, you can just see, he just seems so happy to be here playing in the big game.
Yeah, they're all queuing up outside. I'm having to deal with it. Like, can I get in? Turker. Here's Rog again with the 5-4 suited.
Play.
I'm going to flop the nuts here.
Oh, here goes Sam with 4-2. I'm going to flop the nuts here.
Yeah. You can certainly turn the nuts anyway.
Yeah.
Check.
Everybody's got a little something. And, you know, oh boy, he's going to turn the straight. And Turker's got top pair. You know, of course, earlier in this game, Sertac gave Sam the big dwell up with the nuts, and I believe that revenge is on the cards right now.
we go.
Really a question of how big Sam can bet here. Only
25.
He was very quick out of the traps there. We go.
I wanted to say that poker, yeah, but then he started.
I didn't flop the nuts, but I certainly turned them.
Post flop, you are the
Did call
best.
it out.
He didn't flop the
I knew as
nuts.
soon as there's a limp pot, I would win.
No fun there for
Very
Sertac, but he's still winning quite a bit in this game. 250 some hands here in the party poker big game 7. And these 8 stalwarts at the table.
So I think Zam might go for broke.
Who?
Mr. Sam Trickett.
Ah, I think you're right.
What's he got up his
I
sleeve?
think you're absolutely right.
Trickett.
Raise 6 colors, 6-5.
Marvin kind of feels like if things go especially well, he can get out of this nightmare and actually win in the game. He's actually really the closest one there is to even. Oh, he's down 15,000. He smells it. By the way, it's been a good half hour for a lot of these guys in the game. Almost everybody's ahead. The only losers in the game right now are Sam Trickett, Mad Marvin, Rettenmaier. And of course, Yuri Keidar.
Yuri.
And Martin. So pretty much everybody, isn't it?
Check.
Huge flop for Turker. And this is big blind against the button. I think if Marvin finds a bet here, it's all over. A lot of reasons for Turker to check raise here. Goes with the call. Jesus, that's kind of the only possible chance that Marvin has to win this pot. Well, not now.
It's over, Marvin.
The second flush he's made, he check raised Sam Trickett earlier. This time he's let out. And we'll see how good Marvin's sniffer is. He really has nothing.
That was for you.
I'm not sure if it's just because we can see them, but this would be a terrible call.
Yeah.
Like, he may feel like he can steal this pot. That Turker's, no.
Jack 10.
Last man show.
Final figures in the big game. In profit, several of the local lads, including Caliskan, Turker, Blinov, and Rubin, all in 5 figures. Nietzsche and Daniel Cates were the interlopers who won about 20K each, but Roger Hairabedian proved his mettle. He avalanched for 40K and won the big game. Let's hear from our biggest winner with Kara.
Roger Hairabedian comes out of this big game as the winner. It must have been a pretty good night here for you.
Yeah, of course, it will be good. When we win, we are every time happy, but the game was very, very good, and I'm happy to make this big game. And next time, if I'm a guest, I come again.
And what do you think of the other players at the table, the caliber?
we cannot say player or bad or good because we play only 10 hours or 12 hours. It's not enough to have a sensation like me. They cannot say if I am a good player or not because maybe I have a good run. If I bad run, maybe I make horror.
12 hours is not long enough, so you're going to have to come back for the next big game. We will see you here at the next big game. Thank you so much.
Well, where did Raj get his money? From the biggest losers, of course. For Alexander Nelkin, nothing went right, left down 29,000. Michael Mizrachi, not really a grinder, is he? He played fast and flash, lost 20K. Marvin Rettenmaier actually feeling pretty good about his loss, losing 18,000. Medium-sized losses for Schemelev, Olarescu, Keidar, and Kabrhel, who joined late. And for Sam Trickett, his sterling string of poker results does not include the big game. He's talking with Kara now.
It was all right. It was good fun. I think I lost about 20,000. Made a little bit back on the side bet, so it's not too bad of a day.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll see you again here at the big game. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Fabulous hospitality, weather, and of course quality poker have made this edition of the big game a winner for everyone. From the Merritt Crystal Cove, we'll see you next time on the Party Poker Big Game.